Okay. Okay.
So are you going to say something first?
Yeah, I think you can start introduce yourself. Okay. Okay.
Well, as most of you know, my name is Fiona Rubel. Maiden name Ferry. My parents are Kun Peter and Kun Peggy. So my brother and I were both born in Malaysia, and then we grew up here in Thailand. And so the first time I ever went back to Scotland, I was almost 9 years old. That was a big adjustment for me. Because I grew up in Thailand, things in Thailand seemed more natural. When I went back, many things to get used to. The weather, it was too cold. The winter was very dreadful. Some food was not so tasty. The chocolate, a lot of things I did like, but it's a big adjustment because Thailand was the country for my brother and myself that we knew first. For my parents, my mother obviously is from Malaysia, so it was still an adjustment. Thai, Malaysians are quite different. For my father, when he came to Thailand the first time, I think, of course it was an adjustment, but I think God had uniquely prepared him in many ways. He had already been a soldier in Malaysia, so he knew what the heat would be like. But he loved Thai food, but he must always have a farang breakfast. He didn't like to have khao tom or whatever, or he liked to have a Western breakfast. But he enjoyed Asian food very much. I think the culture, of course, is different, but he was a little bit used to it, I think, because he married my mother. I think for some, everyone is different. For some missionaries, it was more difficult to adjust than others. I think because my father had also been a soldier, so he had been in different countries before. He'd been in Germany, he had to learn German, it's a different culture. So I think for him it was maybe easier. And I remember him once saying to me, not so long ago, he said it many times, being a missionary, he wouldn't have given it up for anything. He loved doing what he did here. And I think God uniquely gifted him and prepared him even before he came first to Thailand. Of course, there's an adjustment. The language, I think one way that all missionaries try and adapt is by learning the language. Speaking the language of the people of the country you're in is very important. Being able to communicate and preach to people in their heart language is very important. And it shows a commitment to the people, to the Christians there, that you want to learn their language. I think learning the language is one of the biggest things, and probably the hardest thing for foreigners. And Thai is not an easy language, right? It's got tones, the writing is difficult, and so probably the biggest challenge, I think, for any missionary, no matter what country they go to, is learning the language. And it's the heart language of the people you're with. His heart language is, of course, English. And every day, for as long as I can remember, 6 o'clock, he would turn on the news and he would listen to BBC World Service. In the old days before computers, he would have a newspaper sent to him every month. It was a monthly newspaper. And these were important for him to maintain his own links to his family and home.
So as you say that, your father, Peter, used the heart language to speak to the people. I think it's very important to connect with the people, and it's as the first question, like looking back, what do you think is the most important spiritual legacy that your father or another missionary left for the church for you personally? Like,
Okay, well, let's see. I got those questions for you actually.
yeah.
So, let me have it here. I think the main legacy is just for me and for a church and for any believers. And you don't have to be a missionary. But I think being faithful to what God has called you to is very important. And making God your priority all the time. Not everyone is called to be a missionary or to be a full-time worker or to teach Sunday school. Even with the missionaries, they are all very different, but we are the body of Christ. And Peter was a very good evangelizer and speaker, and children's speaker. David was very gifted at languages. He translated the Bible into the Egyptian language.
That
Right.
time you met Mr. David already? At the time?
Oh yes, yeah, I knew
Oh.
David and Doreen. Yeah, so many of you who are listening
Yeah.
probably don't know them.
Yeah. I
So-
just heard their name.
Oh right, yes. Yeah, so his knowledge of time was very good. Speaking, probably Peter was a bit better. But everyone is different, and so now, yes, and his son-in-law continued the work, and they have the Bible now. And this was a work that he started, and so his gift was very different from my father. But I think remaining faithful to what God has called you to, and I think that most missionaries, all missionaries leave their home countries and their families, right? But apart from leaving the family is a sacrifice. But I think that's probably the only sacrifice they will say there is. I don't think Peter or Peggy ever thought that leaving Malaysia or Scotland, maybe not having, I don't know, different things, I don't think they ever thought it was a sacrifice. Because I think for them, knowing that they were in the center of God's will and being faithful and obedient to his calling was what mattered. And I think for Christians, there's no greater contentment or satisfaction you can get than knowing that you're in his will. I remember Peggy once told me a story about a friend of hers. Her friend had been interested in missionary work, but then she met someone, also a Christian, but he was not interested. And so she never became a missionary. And, God blessed her, and she had a good family and life. But she told my mother many years later that she sometimes felt that she had missed out on the best thing that God had for her. And it doesn't have to be being a missionary, but are you being faithful to what God has called you to? And I think that's something that's a challenge for me. And something.
You answered all questions right now.
Yes.
So we come to the last question. Like, what message would you like to share with the younger generation today? I think.
Maybe the same thing. Try and keep God the main thing in life. Don't compromise your values for the world values. I think there was a question about opposition or being a Christian.
You haven't answered that, or?
No, I haven't.
Oh,
I don't
right.
think. No,
I think
I don't think.
cool.
Oh, not really. No. But I almost think it's harder in some ways to be a Christian now. There's many distractions for young people and older people. I think the distinctions between what Christians should do, what a Christian shouldn't do, is not so easy now. There's a lot of things on social media. A lot of Christians maybe choose parts of the Bible that they like, and some parts that they don't like or they don't agree, they just don't follow it. And many people who speak out against Christians. I don't know about Thailand, but in the West, it almost seems like sometimes the government favors the other religion more, like Muslims or something. A couple of months ago in Northern Ireland, there was a retired pastor. He was preaching outside a hospital. He was arrested and fined for preaching. And so there's a lot of opposition now, I think, towards Christians. But I think a lot of it is I think the challenge is just stay close to God. I think that's one of the big things. And make sure that you have godly people around you. Ecclesiastes talks about how it is, what did it say? It's better if there's two are better than one. Right? Because if one person falls and there's no one there to pick them up, that's not a good thing. And I think as Christians, we need godly people around us to keep us accountable. If maybe they think you're doing something, maybe it's not so good, and also to encourage us, because we will go through difficult times, and we need godly people to encourage us and help us stay strong to our faith.
Or you have something else you can tell
us? No, that's fine. I just have a couple of stories, but that's okay.
I think it's really interesting and it's enough for us.
Yes, I'm sure it is, because that's going to be a lot of subtitles.
Right. It's okay. We're going to cut it in the short version and make the 9 people mix together first, and then after finish the ceremony, you're going to have a long version.
The full version. Extended version.
Extended version. If you're interested, please follow. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I think it's a great project.
And goosebumps in every word that you said. Goosebumps.
No, it's fine. I'll just add one thing, just for your own interest. Thailand actually, and I remember Peter saying this at missionary conferences in Scotland, Thailand has a lot of freedom, religious freedom. You can go to the temple, funeral service, and preach, a Buddhist temple. But even if you look up nowadays, the number of evangelical Christians in Thailand is still less than 2%. And I think the opposition in Thailand is the invisible opposition, the spiritual opposition that we can't see. Because yes, there's a lot of external freedom. But like in Ephesians, right? We wrestle or we don't fight against flesh and blood, but against the principalities and powers of the world. And I think countries, Muslim countries, it seems they have no freedom, very little freedom. It's very difficult. Countries like North Korea, China, it's difficult. But they have more Christians. So, yeah. So I think here in Thailand, the spiritual opposition is very strong. But anyway.
Do you have any word or message about our assembly, Christian assembly, become to 136 years already? Do you have any word or blessing?
Yes. Well, Matt, I think it's wonderful that you're celebrating 136 years. At first I thought 136 was a strange number to celebrate.
Right.
And then your mother told me. Yes. Amazing Grace.
Yes.
The number of the hymn, 136. Right. And I just think it's wonderful to see the church for so long has come from a very small gathering and is now so much bigger. One thing Peter used to always say, he said, being a missionary was the one job where your goal is to make yourself unemployed. In other words, you want to build up and train strong local believers so that the church can continue by itself. And I think
That's
it's been
what he's doing and
yes, yeah, and you've done a wonderful job. It's lovely coming back. And the last time I was back at the ladies' meeting here, your sister,
yeah.
she was sharing, she spoke, and seeing you so involved in different ways, seeing the young people. I think God has blessed the church a lot. And I think with the history, it's good. You can look back and you can learn from the things that are good, and you can learn from things that may be hard times as well. But keep looking forward and looking to Christ. So,
That what we
thank you.
that is what our tagline, like if, we have a long history, but the love of God still maintain that way. Still there.
Yeah, yeah. Hopefully, yes, yeah. Not only there, but hopefully growing stronger. And yeah. So, thank you for asking me to be part of this project. Wish you all the best with it.
Part of the big project and history. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
The history, so you